hot on the heels of what is so far the biggest controversial decision of the Triple H era. Main event Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble and headlining WrestleMania 41. Let's imagine a world where Triple H's vision of professional wrestling shaped WWE before Vince McMahon ever lost his grip. This isn't just a what if question. It's a deep dive into how different wrestling could look today. From long-term storytelling to the careers of superstars like Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka, let's explore a reality where WWE never ever faced the competition it does now, all because Triple H was in charge sooner. Buckle up, this might just change the way you see wrestling history. Imagine the main roster infused with the energy and the creativity that defined the black and gold NXT. Under Triple H's leadership, NXT became a haven for wrestling purists, boasting well-crafted storylines, intense rivalries, and match of the year candidates on a weekly basis. Superstars like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Adam Cole thrived in the system. If Triple H had taken over WWE Creative sooner, we might have just seen the main roster embrace a similar storytelling approach. Instead of disjointed booking, Raw and SmackDown could have delivered long-term narratives that kept fans invested for months. Picture Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, booked with the intricate storytelling of Gargano versus Ciampa, or the women's division benefiting from the same care that produced Asuka's undefeated NXT streak. The entire WWE product could have evolved into a weekly showcase of wrestling excellence, rather than relying on moments of nostalgia or shock value. Have you ever wondered how much more gripping Roman's heel turn could have been if they had years of build-up like Gargano or Ciampa? Or the slow burn feud between the Shield members had been too much for our emotions to handle? Stars like Cesaro, Neville, and Sami Zayn often found themselves stuck in the mid-card despite their undeniable talent. Under Triple H's leadership in NXT, these superstars were given the freedom to showcase their skills and connect with fans through compelling storylines. Imagine Cesaro's technical mastery being highlighted in a series of main event feuds, or Neville's high-flying abilities redefining the Intercontinental Championship scene. Sami Zayn's underdog story, which captivated audiences in NXT, could have been replicated on a larger scale, possibly leading to a world title run much earlier in his career. Triple H's commitment to making every match matter and every character resonate could have transformed these underutilized stars into household names, bridging the gap between fan expectations and WWE's creative direction. Triple H's role in the women's evolution is undeniable. His booking of Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley in NXT set a new standard for women's wrestling. If he had taken over WWE Creative sooner, this revolution might have occurred years earlier. Instead of enduring years of Divas matches that barely lasted a few minutes, fans could have witnessed the rise of women's wrestling as a legitimate draw on the main roster. Imagine a WrestleMania headlined by women in the early 2010s, or female superstars like Paige and AJ Lee receiving the same spotlight as their male counterparts. Triple H's respect for in-ring storytelling and character development elevated the division, creating timeless rivalries and redefining what WWE's women's division stood for. Could we have seen Paige and AJ Lee as the original WrestleMania headliners? Shattered glass ceilings long before the four horsewomen arrived. One of Triple H's most lauded traits as a creative leader is his trust in his superstars to bring their characters to life. In NXT, wrestlers were given the freedom to cut unscripted promos that felt genuine and connected with the audience. If this philosophy had been applied to the main roster sooner, we might have seen a new era of organic characters thriving without the constraints of heavily scripted dialogue. Imagine Roman Reigns finding his tribal chief persona years earlier, or Bray Wyatt's cryptic charisma shining through unfiltered. This approach could have revitalized stars who struggle under the rigid structure, allowing them to build a stronger rapport with fans and create moments that felt authentic. Triple H's NXT treated tag team wrestling as an art form, giving teams like DIY, The Revival, and the Undisputed Era the platform to deliver show-stealing performances. If he had taken over WWE Creative sooner, the main roster's tag team division might have avoided years of neglect. Teams like the Usos, the New Day, and the Bar could have had even more spotlight, while underutilized duos like the Ascension or American Alpha might have reached their full potential. Imagine WrestleMania moments where the tag team titles were treated with the same reverence as world championships. Triple H's emphasis on the importance of every division could have elevated tag team wrestling to unprecedented heights. With DIY versus the Usos have stolen the show at a WrestleMania? Or would the New Day's legacy be even more legendary? One of the most frustrating patterns for WWE fans has been a mishandling of NXT call-ups. Stars like Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Keith Lee arrived on the main roster with immense momentum, only to see their impact fizzle due to inconsistent booking. On the Triple H's watch, these transitions could have been seamless. Imagine Balor's demon persona being treated as an unstoppable force on Raw, or Nakamura's charisma driving him to a world championship reign. Triple H's understanding of these performers' strengths and how to showcase them could have prevented countless missed opportunities, turning NXT alumni into main event fixtures rather than mid-card afterthoughts. Shinsuke Nakamura should have won the world title at WrestleMania. Shinsuke Nakamura really should have won the world title at WrestleMania in his match against AJ Styles and then turned heel. It was the perfect opportunity to elevate his status. Just look at Nakamura's current work as United States champion during his heel run. His character is phenomenal, and it shows what could have been if creative had capitalized back then. Similarly, Asuka was an unstoppable force in NXT, with her undefeated streak cementing her as one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, regardless of gender. Her loss to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania was, to say the least, incredibly disappointing and felt like a missed opportunity. If Triple H had been in charge at that time, I'm 1000% sure he would have made the right decision for these two international superstars, giving them legacies they truly deserve. The PG era is often criticized for its lack of edge and creativity, leading to a decline in ratings over the years. If Triple H had taken over during this period, his ability to blend compelling storytelling with athletic in-ring action might have retained more viewers. His NXT formula of balancing family-friendly content with intense rivalries could have rejuvenated Raw or SmackDown. Imagine a more engaging product that appealed to longtime fans while still catering to younger audience. The ratings slump might have been mitigated, keeping WWE's audience engaged and loyal during a challenging transitional period. Would we have seen a PG era that didn't alienate Attitude Era fans, or is that wishful thinking? One of the hallmarks of Triple H's creative leadership is his commitment to long-term booking. In NXT, rivalries like Gargano vs Ciampa and the Undisputed Era vs Imperium showcased deep storytelling that culminated in an unforgettable moments. If this philosophy had been applied to the main roster sooner, we might have avoided infamous moments of fan backlash, such as Roman Reigns' forced babyface push. Instead, we could have seen gripping arcs, like the Shield's implosion being planned and executed over an extended period, or Becky Lynch's rise to the man being even more layered and impactful. This approach could have fostered a stronger emotional connection between WWE's storyline and its passionate audience. Would fans have booed Reigns if he slowly molded into the tribal chief earlier? Or could Becky Lynch's meteoric rise have been even more iconic? If Triple H had taken over creative while Vince McMahon was still active, it's fascinating to think Vince might have turned their behind-the-scenes power struggle into a gripping storyline on TV. Imagine Vince, the ultimate showman, orchestrating an angle where Triple H's creative ideas clash with his old school philosophy, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. Fans would be left questioning what was scripted and what was real as the two battle for control, with WWE programming reflecting the actual behind the scenes tension. This meta storyline could have been one of the most captivating arcs in wrestling history, adding layers of intrigue to every decision made on screen and off. Triple H's tenure in NXT was marked by an open embrace of indie stars, from Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe to Adam Cole. If this philosophy had been implemented on the main roster earlier, WWE's reputation among hardcore wrestling fans might have improved significantly. Instead of viewing WWE as a corporate machine that buries indie talent, fans might have seen it as a platform that celebrated and elevated these performers. This could have led to a stronger talent pipeline, with top indie stars eager to join WWE rather than hesitating due to fears of being misused. The ripple effect on WWE's global talent recruitment and overall perception within the wrestling world could have been monumental. If Triple H had been in charge of the main roster years ago, would we have ever seen the creation of AEW? AEW was created with an emphasis on professional wrestling, rather than sports entertainment. As we know, AEW is WWE's biggest competition in signing professional wrestlers who not only want to be superstars, but also showcase their athletic abilities. Something that WWE, as a PG family-friendly company, doesn't always allow its talent to do to the same extent. Maybe if Triple H had been in charge earlier and AEW wasn't created, WWE would have faced no competition for up-and-coming indie stars. But without that external pressure, WWE might have become complacent or even just plain boring. By imagining these scenarios, we can see just how different WWE might have been if Triple H had taken over the reins of creative sooner. This new era of WWE, under his guidance, feels like a glimpse into what could have been, and fans can only wonder how much sooner we might have experienced his golden age. So, there you have it, a world where Triple H's creative genius reshaped WWE before AEW and before some of the biggest missed opportunities in wrestling history. But what do you think? What would you like to see next in the What If series? Let me know your dream scenarios in the comments below. And if you missed any of the early episodes, go back and check them out. You won't want to miss the twists and turns that we have already uncovered. Until the next time, keep imagining what could have been in this wild world of professional wrestling.